Hi, and welcome to Time to Talk 2021. And this year's theme is the power of small. So let's get talking. So, how do we really get talking with one another about mental health? Well, really, it's as simple as just asking a question and listening. So, asking somebody how they are, how they're feeling, and then investing that time in just sitting and listening to what it is that they've got to say. There isn't any need to try and fix the situation for the person. Quite often, just listening to them is all that they need. You just need to keep it really simple, perhaps have a little chat over a cup of tea, even just texting somebody and finding out how they are, or even while we're in lockdown, taking the opportunity to go out for a little walk just with one person, just to talk to them about their mental health and about how they're feeling. Remember that you don't have to be an expert in mental health to be able to talk to somebody about how it is that they are feeling. Just being there for somebody is all that they need quite often, and it'll mean a lot that you've taken the time to ask that person how they're feeling. So remember that small conversations about mental health has the power to make the big difference to somebody else's life. So now it's time for you to get talking. Hashtag time to talk and share some of the conversations that you've been having and the difference that that's made to other people. Join and watch some of our videos and enjoy just being with other people and doing different things that can have a really big impact on your day.
Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about Google Reminiscence. So quite often people ask, what is reminiscence? So reminiscence is a way to support somebody with dementia to talk about perhaps memories from the past, perhaps places that they lived, or perhaps holidays that they went on, different things like that. And there's lots of different ways of doing reminiscence. Some people do it with photographs or pictures or old postcards. Some people use particular objects of reference, so perhaps something relating to a holiday or a particular place. But for this example, we're going to be using Google Maps. And Google Maps is something that is available to everybody. If you've got a computer and the internet, you can do it on a phone or an iPad. So doing reminiscence is really important for people with dementia because not only does it help them to engage in memories, but it also helps them with their communication and enabling them to take part in conversations. And sometimes just doing small activities like this with people with dementia can really aid their well-being. So I'm going to show you the process, first of all, of how you use Google Maps to do reminiscence. And then I'm going to show you some examples that I've done throughout lockdown with my team and looking at some of their memories. So particular things like holidays, growing up as a child, and also weddings. So we'll be showing you those a bit later. So first of all, what you need to do on your computer is load up Google Maps. So you just type it into your search engine and you just click on your Google Maps and that will bring up the map. That's where we are at the moment. Here we are at Sage House in Tangmere. Now, I was born in Chesterfield, but only lived there for the first kind of 6 months of my life. So really, I grew up in Littlehampton in West Sussex. So we're going to zoom in to Littlehampton. So just typing it up in the top bar up here on the left, and pressing search, and you can see here that it's taken us to Littlehampton. So you might, when you're using this for doing some reminiscence, the person might not remember the exact street that they lived on. So it could just be that you go and you look at particular areas of interest within the map. So it could be that you click on links like the beach, and then you can click on the photo, and up comes West Beach. I know I've got some particularly fond memories of West Beach. It's a beautiful beach, beautiful for walking. And still now I love to go there and walk my dogs. But I'm going to take you to the street that I grew up in. So I grew up in St Flora's Road in Littlehampton. So there we go, St Flora's Road. And it will take us in to the map. So here we have St Flora's Road, and you can use the plus and the minus arrow to make it a little bit bigger. You can get a bit closer. So you can see here that the houses have got numbers on them. So if you can remember the particular number of the house that you lived at, then it's really good to be able to actually show the person that view. So what we're going to do is, if you can see down here in the right hand corner, there's a little yellow man, and using the mouse or the mouse pad, just left click and pick up the little man, and you'll see that the lines go blue on the road, and you can just drag him and then literally let go of the mouse and drop him in. So there we go. So this was my view. If I was looking out of my window, this would have been one of my neighbours' houses. But I lived in this house, there we go, just here. And there's quite a few trees there at the moment. When I grew up, we didn't have the trees here. I can remember very much we had a little gate across here that went up into the driveway, and we had a gate across here. And I always remember one of my fondest memories, and always probably really funny when I was quite young, probably about 4 or 5 years old, when I decided that I was going to run away from home because, like every kid, I'd had enough and that was it. So I'd packed up my little lunchbox with a sandwich and a little drink, and I set off out of the front gate, and I boldly walked up the path because I was really brave at that age, ready to run away. And by the time I reached the second gate here of the driveway, I'd had enough of that thought of running away. So decided I was better off just going back into the house and just seeing if anybody had missed me. And of course, in the short space of time that I'd been gone, nobody had missed me at all. So the great thing about the Google map is that you can turn it, you can move it around. So if you're not sure which part of the street that you live in, then you can move up the road if the person can't remember the number. And it might be that just looking at the house, they can remember just by looking at them. So it's a good opportunity. You can just kind of, using your mouse, just click up and down. Now, I'm just going to go a little bit further up here and tell you another funny story about when I was growing up. So my brother and I, we used to play a game where one of us would close our eyes. It was a bit of a game of trust, and we would let the other one guide us all the way home from the top of the road all the way back to our house. And we just give the instructions left, right, or straight on. Now, as a kid, and even now, I'm absolutely useless with my left and my rights. And I was telling my brother, I was instructing him as he had his eyes shut. Turn left, I said, turn left. No, left, left, meaning turn right, as he smacked his head straight into one of these pillars in this wall. And funnily enough, my brother never remembers that story, but I must admit that's one of the things I always remember as a child was managing to walk him into this wall here. Maybe he hit his head that much that he got a bit of concussion, but maybe not. So that's the principles of Google Maps then. So knowing the address that you lived at, or just the area, and typing it in. The other thing that's really good for using with Google Maps, so we're just going to come out of this, is perhaps to go somewhere, perhaps that you've been on holiday before, or even somewhere that you've never been on holiday. So we're going to go to one of my favourite places in the world, which is Egypt. I've been there probably about 3 or 4 times on holiday. I've been up the Nile, done all the cruising that everybody does. Let's just take our little man and we're going to pop him in Luxor. So sometimes in the map you can't actually put the little man directly into a road, but it might be that there are particular sites that you can drop the person into. So this one here is one of the temples. So you can get a good 360 view of the temple, but you can't actually go in and look around, unlike on the Google Maps when you're looking on the roads. But even if you just want to remember going to a temple on holiday, what a spectacular view to be able to talk about it. If we just turn around, looking up the path there lined by all the rams. So again, another good way of using Google, if you don't know perhaps where somebody lived, but you want to talk about holidays particularly, great that you can use the Google map just to put somebody into it. I think one of the important things to remember when you're doing reminiscence work with somebody, whether it's Google Maps or any other type of reminiscence, is that sometimes you might be bringing up memories that perhaps weren't good memories for that person. So it's really important to know the person, perhaps know what are difficult things to talk about, and make sure that you avoid those memories, particularly if they're painful memories, because it's not something that you really want to upset the person by talking about them. So we're going to now have a bit of a look at some of the work that I did through lockdown with my team. So we're going to start off and we're going to go on a little journey with Andy, who's our office manager, and he is going to talk about his childhood in China. So we're going to take you off to Hong Kong.
Well, when you were saying about childhood memories, my biggest main childhood memory was when I lived in Hong Kong.
Okay.
My dad was in the Royal Navy.
Yep.
And in 1974, 5, I think it was, we got posted out to Hong Kong. So I would have been, I can't remember, 74, 75, 7, 8 at the time. Hong Kong, look at that.
So was there anywhere particular in Hong Kong that you were living?
No, just it wasn't. It was only a little. It's only the seafront around the South China Sea. So it's Hong Kong Island. Yeah.
So around here.
Yeah, so definitely down there. So
let's bring the little man in and see where we can go to.
Further down nearer the sea.
Down here somewhere. I probably need to zoom in a bit. Actually, that's right in the middle of nowhere. Let's go back.
It's going to have changed since I was there.
Absolutely. Well, that's the idea. That's the idea of doing this, so that you can kind of go, oh, like when I was there and I remember this, and so kind of down around here or more around this.
Yeah, Victoria Harbour. Victoria Harbour was the key.
Harbour.
Okay. In the top middle there, that was the key area.
Okay. Oh.
That's fairly central Hong Kong.
Okay.
Oh, that's so changed.
So how do you remember it?
Well, I remember it through more childhood memories, because I went to school out there.
Okay.
And Hong Kong, you can't really see it possibly from the Google Maps, but if it was a bit wider, I think that's the other side, is kind of on a hill. It kind of slopes up on a hill.
Okay.
And we lived in a flat, probably a quarter of the way up the hill, bottom of the hill, up to the top, Victoria Peak, as it was called.
Oh, okay.
From up there, you just see it all across the bay and across to Kowloon Island, across the water.
Should we see if we can go up there?
Yeah, it was Victoria Peak, it was called. I'm sure it's Victoria Peak. Yeah. That's Victoria Harbour, so it was up.
There it is, there.
Victoria Peak, there you go. Still there. It is still there.
I don't know if we can drop the little man in there. Pew!
What are we going to see? There you go. You can look down spectacularly over the top.
That's amazing.
See the bay. So we were looking there, probably halfway down the hill.
Okay.
Left. And this is Hong Kong Island, this side of Victoria, and the other side is Kowloon. So the ferries used to cross. A lot of people commuted on the ferries daily across the Green Star ferries. That's what they were called back in the day.
Yeah, that is spectacular.
Yeah, it was absolutely. It's very, and that's in daylight. At night time when it's all lit up, it was just amazing. Amazing to see. I think you're there. You're now down to the ferry district, as was.
Yeah.
Very unique to Hong Kong, and I think they're still going to now. Are the green ferries that used to go across from where we are, from Hong Kong main island to across the way, which was great fun.
Yeah.
I do have memories, probably not pleasurable memories, where the naval base, actually, the back of it where the car park was a sheer drop into the South China Sea.
Blimey.
And health and safety in those days, all you had to stop you going over was one of those link chains.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do have memories of sitting in the back of the car with Dad trying to park the car, reverse park the car, and I'm sitting in the back with my sister going, "Stop! We're going in the bloody sea!"
That must have been really scary.
Actually, we couldn't get out quick enough. Actually, on the Navy base, it's not a good memory, which you used to go down to most weekends. They had all their own swimming facilities, so I learned how to swim out there and dive. Oh, well, no. The memories of the, should we say, shopping district were more the markets.
Okay.
Where it was all just majority was food and fake goods being made, but actually all the walking through the markets, just the scent, the smells of them. They were all just sitting there eating bowls of rice, squatted down. You could have, well, who knows what you could get to eat over there from frogs. Yeah. Anything that moved that could be cooked, you could eat it. Despite everything.
Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely loved Hong Kong. My dad used to play cricket out there for the Navy.
Yeah.
So every Saturday during the summertime, I'd go to cricket with him in the block of flats. Every Saturday, I'd get my $1 pocket money, which was approximately, I think it was 10 pence at the time.
Okay.
We could go down into the underground car park where a few local Chinese people would set up various fruit and veg stalls and bits and pieces. And there was a little sweetie stall, and I used to get a bag of sweeties for my $1 every week.
Fabulous.
And it's just something, of all my childhood overseas experiences, that's that really...
It's the one that's really stuck with you.
Yeah, it really has. As a fun, it was challenging as well. With the language barrier, I learned how to count to 10 in Cantonese. I can recite for the camera.
Can you still do that?
Yeah, I can.
Go for it then.
I can. So it's ya, yi, sam, say, un, look, cha, ba, bat, gao, sap. There you go.
I'm very impressed. So you'd go and order your £10 worth of sweets, or your 10 sweets.
Your 10 sweets. Took me, I loved it. I
can imagine.
And I found the people just so welcoming. They were very children friendly at the time.
So the next example that I'm just going to show you is with Teresa, who's one of our support workers, and she's going to talk about her wedding day. So what do you remember about when you got married?
What do I remember? I felt fairly relaxed, actually, which is quite unusual because I think, obviously when you have your wedding day, it's usually mass panic and anxiety. But I didn't, actually. I felt very sort of kind of laid back about it. And Stuart said something similar. And it was just quite a nice day. The weather was lovely. It was astonishing, really, because we had two wonderful quite hot days for April, because we got married on April the 12th, and the following day was really lovely. But it was great, we had family and friends, and probably more friends than family, actually, if I'm honest. I mean, to be honest, we got married in the church because it was a particular wish of my parents. My mother was a devout Catholic, so in order to keep her placated, as it were, we agreed to get married in the church. Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure we perhaps went down that route, but still.
What year did you get married in? Was it in the 60s?
We got married in 1980.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think it was like?
Well, we've been married this year 40 years.
That's really lovely.
Yeah. We
had a
anniversary was part of lockdown, so we didn't see anybody, but we did have some lovely messages, and the kids, were really lovely. We had some quite special communication with them, but it's one of those things. We're going to be remembering our 40th anniversary with remnants of lockdown.
So as part of doing the Google Reminiscence, it's great to let people just talk and tell their story, things that they remember. But it's making sure that you ask the right questions, and it's not asking somebody, you know, if you know perhaps at the church you got married, it's not asking them, do you remember where it was? It's perhaps suggesting the name of the place and asking them what were their thoughts about it. So not specifically saying, do you remember? Because that can cause somebody to become quite stressed. Keeping questions really open as well is really important. So just letting the person talk rather than just leaving them with yes or no questions, which they'll just give you very short answers. So, did you go on holiday in Egypt? Yes. So it's making sure you allow them to talk about it. So asking things like, what were your memories of Egypt? What did you see when you were there? Did you see the Sphinx? Did you go to perhaps any of the temples, and what did you think about them? And it's asking those type of questions that will certainly lead the person to be able to talk more freely about what it was that they were doing. And I just want to leave you with this video of showing you in practice how this worked with one of our customers who talked about when she learnt to dance in her village hall.
Dancing class in Chichester, and she used to talk to me about it and tell me, and I used to go home and say I wanted to dance, I wanted to learn to dance. So eventually this friend of mine, I can't remember what her name was now, I think she had a nickname, Teddy. Anyway, she said that she would take me, and you know, without much more ado, Mum's weren't. Teddy said, "Why don't you come with me next Saturday?" So, you know, without more ado, this little girl went off. I suppose we went up by the bus, and I was taken in, and the dancing, she was very good too. She made sure that my mother knew and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just, in I went. You know, and from that day forward, I never looked back.
Okay, so here's just a quick recap of how to work your Google Maps for Reminiscence. So first of all, you just want to open up your search engine and you want to type in Google Maps. And we'll just then click on the Google Maps and we'll open it. Then in the top left-hand corner, you just need to type wherever it is that you want to go to. So I'm going to go to Cornwall. I can't spell it. Pero in Cornwall. There we go. And that'll bring up the map area and some pictures of the map. You can then either click on particular places within the map, or if you go down to the bottom right-hand corner, if you pick up, you left click with your mouse, pick up the little man, and then you can, there we go. So you can see from the map then that we're in the main high street, the main road in Pulpero that leads down to the sea. So you can use your mouse to move around the screen, so either left and right, so just by holding left clicking and moving the mouse around, or you can move forwards in the map just by moving the arrow. If you can see here, there's the little arrow on the road, and just left clicking and moving forward through wherever it is. So you can then look at perhaps a particular restaurant or a particular area of interest that you might want to look at.